Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om, I bow to the Lord Vasudeva. Hello, friends. I'd like to read again from the Gita. This is a curious passage. Most people think that Scripture is very solemn and staid and stiff-shirted and so on. But actually there's a good humor in it too. And all the masters I've known, and I've known a number, have all had a good sense of humor. Grandsire Bhishma, remember, Bhishma represents the ego. Grandsire Bhishma then, glorious and powerful among the Kurus, anxious to encourage the wavering Duryodhana, blew his conch with a mighty blast. Now the meaning of this is very esoteric. When you are in meditation and you gradually calm your mind, you reach the point where you don't need to breathe at all, and you don't breathe. There are techniques to help you to learn to learn to go beyond breath. One of them is to watch the breath. Just let the breath come in and out of the nostrils as it will. You can watch it in the nostrils first of all, you'll feel it here, then feel it up at the root of the nose. When Krishna speaks of concentrating at the root of the nose, nasikagram, he means here, the beginning of the nose. The nose doesn't begin here, it begins here. So the beginning of the nose is the point between the eyebrows. And you can think of that air coming past that flow, past that point here, at the point between the eyebrows, stimulating that point of concentration. Or you can think of it as coming up and down the spine, up with the inhalation, down with the inhalation. And as the breath comes in, mentally say Hong, H-O-N-G. And as the breath goes out, mentally say Sa, S-A-U. Aham Saha means I am he. And this is the mantra based on that. So Hong is often expressed, but So Hong is the expression that comes when you've known God. Hong Sa is to reach God. This is subtle, and I'm not going to go into it in depth. But Hong with the incoming, Sa with the outgoing. And gradually you'll find in watching the breath that the breath becomes still, until finally you're not breathing at all. You don't even need breath until you create carbon by movement, by tension, by restlessness, and then you have to breathe again. The breath is just a mechanism of the body to keep it supplied with oxygen. But when you have that oxygen, you don't need more. When you've got yourself completely charged with oxygen, you can go beyond breath. Yogis have been able to go beyond breath for very long periods of time. That is to say, like Sadhu Haridas was buried underground for 40 days. And at the end of that time, he was brought up. They pronounced him dead because his heart wasn't beating or anything. He came back to life. You don't need these things. You don't need your body if you're strong in the spirit. But watching the breath is a means of helping to calm the breath and finally to go beyond the breath. So this technique of Hong So is a very good technique. As I said, some people say So Hong or So Hum. It doesn't really very much matter, but there is an Upanishad called Hong Sa Upanishad. This is the real mantra of the Vedas. So anyway, when the mind becomes very still and the body becomes very still and the breath starts to become calm, suddenly the ego will come in. What about me? What about me? And then you find, and this is what happens in the next part of the. Then Bhishma blew his conch with a mighty blast. That's the conch shell of Bhishma, the ego, the breath itself. And then in the next stanza, a very interesting passage where it says, then there followed at once a great tumult as conches, kettle drums, tabors, small drums, horns sounded in a mighty uproar of support. Well, this is all humorous. You must understand that great saints have fun in their teaching. They're not just solemn. But what he's saying is that once Bhishma has blown his big conch of the ego, which is the breath, then all the world sounds come in, and the sounds of the body come in again, and everything, the world begins to assume its own importance. And The interesting thing is that then the other side comes in and tries to assert its own power, and they too blow their conches. Well, we'll go into that one next time. But the important thing is that you calm your body. If you want to know God, be still and know that I am God. You'll find that phrase in the Bible. Be completely still in your mind. To still your heart is the most important thing of all. As the great exponent of yoga, Patanjali, said, the definition of yoga is yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta means the feelings of the heart. When we can calm those feelings, when we can reach the point where we don't let anything excite us, it isn't that then you become apathetic. When you stop having likes and dislikes and attachments and repulsions and so on, then suddenly you find that you have a bliss. Your nature is bliss. When you calm that tumult, you don't suddenly become dull. Rather, the only truly happy people in this world are those who live more in themselves. And those who are truliest happy or happiest are those who are in the thought of God and in the thought of His bliss. When you have that bliss in yourself, then nothing really bothers you. People can insult you and you feel that, well, how nice of them to think of me at all and want to try to help me. And if they're really not trying to help you, it doesn't bother you. You just know that this world is made that way. This world is full of ups and downs. There's day, every day is followed by night, and night is followed again by day, and it just goes on and on. Some people will like you, some people will not like you. If nobody thinks anything of you, that's not very much of a compliment, is it? I'd say rather that if you have people who become your enemies, don't be their enemy. I remember this one fellow used to say, I don't know why I hate you, but I hate you. I said, I'm sorry, I can't reciprocate. I like you. But I couldn't help it, and apparently he couldn't help it, so let it be. I remember this one man who was just dead against me, and I said to him one time, you know, Jim, I could be the devil himself, and it wouldn't be your problem. He said, I know, I don't so matter. It was all jealousy, envy, that's what motivates most people. I've accomplished things, and they haven't. But what's the point in getting excited by other people's reactions? And don't do anything for their applause, because wherever there's applause, there will also be excoriation. Live to please God. Live to do His will and be interested only in furthering His light in this world. This world is a battle between the demons of darkness and the angels of light. We can put it that way. You can consider it metaphorical or not. I myself take it more literally. But the fact remains that it is a struggle between light and darkness. You struggle on the side of lightness. Don't be one of those wishy-washy people who sit in between and don't do anything. Don't be one who says, oh, I just want peace of mind, I don't want to be bothered. Of course you're going to, if you want to advance, you're going to have opposition. Don't worry about it. Just love God. Sooner or later you will find that when you wake up from this life, you'll be in a world of such joy that nothing can compare with it. Joy to you.